As the battle erupted before him, Kairo realized the fate of Ngaru Village might depend on what he discovered next.
When the dust finally began to settle, Kairo realized the ancient prison was completely open. Nothing stood behind the broken doorway. Yet the air was filled with the feeling that something had escaped. Then Kairo noticed enormous footprints leading away from the prison and toward the surface. The shadow beast sensed the same danger. It growled and stared into the dark corridor, as though it could feel an unseen presence moving through the temple. Kairo followed the trail, knowing that whatever had escaped could already be heading toward Ngaru Village. But before they could continue, the guardian stepped in front of them, refusing to let them go any farther. Kairo looked at the creature and then at the footprints. He knew the guardian was trying to warn them about something far more dangerous than they had imagined. The shadow beast turned toward another passage and began moving deeper through the ancient ruins. Kairo and Tano followed closely behind. When they finally emerged from the temple, a terrifying roar echoed from beyond the forest. Kairo looked toward Ngaru Village. Whatever had escaped was already heading home. Kairo knew they had to reach Ngaru Village before the creature did. He led Tano through the dense forest while the shadow beast followed closely behind them. Suddenly, Kairo stopped. The enormous footprints they had been following had disappeared. The shadow beast searched the surrounding air, sensing something that Kairo could not see. Several nearby trees had been ripped apart, their thick bark torn away as though they were nothing more than dry branches. Kairo realized that whatever had passed through the forest possessed incredible strength. Then the shadow beast suddenly looked toward the sky. A massive shadow swept across the treetops before disappearing into the clouds. Kairo understood the danger immediately. The creature was no longer wandering through the forest. It was moving toward the village. Without wasting another moment, Kairo raced toward Ngaru Village. Tano followed closely behind, while the shadow beast moved beside them. Finally, they reached a hill overlooking the village. But instead of relief, Kairo felt a cold fear come over him. Something was already wrong. Smoke was rising above Ngaru Village. Something had already reached the people before Kairo could warn them. Kairo raced down the hill toward the village, desperate to reach the people before the danger grew worse. Panic had already taken control of the village. Villagers rushed through the streets, searching for safety while nobody knew where the mysterious creature was. Kairo found Chief Damba in the village square and urgently warned him that everyone needed to move away from the center. Then the shadow beast entered the village beside Kairo. The frightened people froze as they saw the creature they had feared for generations standing next to their protector. Kairo raised his hand and warned everyone not to attack. He knew the shadow beast had not come to harm them. It had come to protect them. Before anyone could ask questions, the guardian suddenly turned toward the northern edge of the village. The trees at the boundary began shaking violently. Branches snapped, leaves scattered, and a deep roar echoed through the air. The gigantic silhouette stood motionless at the edge of the forest, hidden beneath the darkness. The villagers froze in fear as another deep roar shook the village. Chief Damba ordered everyone to move away from the northern boundary, but Kairo remained behind with Tano and the shadow beast. Then the creature slowly stepped out from between the trees and into the moonlight. It was unlike the shadow beast. Its enormous body was covered with dark, rough armor, while strange glowing markings stretched across its powerful frame. Kairo suddenly noticed something disturbing. The same strange markings were visible on the wounds covering the shadow beast. The guardian released a powerful warning roar. The creature answered with an even deeper roar before lowering its body, preparing to attack. Kairo raised his wooden staff, but before he could move, the shadow beast charged forward. The two enormous creatures collided with a thunderous impact, sending dust and debris across the village boundary. Kairo watched in shock as the battle between the guardian and the escaped creature began. But deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning.
As the battle erupted
the creature had
before
escaped
him,
from the ancient temple
Kairo
for a
realized
reason,
the fate
and
of
Kairo
Ngaru
was
Village
determined to
might
discover
depend
what that
on what
reason
he
was.
discovered next.
To be continued.